All right. You should hear me now. Do 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 do. All right. So give me a couple more seconds to finish setting everything up. I will put some dogs on screen. Falco says, oh, y'all are talking about space elevators. That is beyond my pay grade. So I'm just going to leave it at that. So let's get some music going. I really should get our other music set up. And I'm gonna get Bennu up. And where is everything? Where is everything? Okay. So, I think there is music. There should be music. Is there not music? There's music. It's just really, really soft. Or really, really soft. Okay. So, we are at... Yeah, I have ducking on because sometimes it's loud and sometimes it's not. And this earbud, actually, I can't hear all that well with it. So, that's just how it is. Now I'm starting to hear it. All right. So I'm looking at the page, and as a collective group, we have completed 2,994 images, and we have 1,515 images to go. That's 1,515 images to go, and our due date is July 17th. So yeah, we can do that. We can do this. So I'm launching everything up now. Where is it? Oh, it's on the wrong thing. It's stuck on the wrong thing. Because of course it is properties. This is the tricky thing about essentially restarting the stream. Oh, 27th. I said 27th. It says 27th on the website. Did I say 17th? I am being horrible with words today. All right, cool. So we got it up. We have a puck butt on camera. Those of you that hung around, thanks for hanging around. So why are we marking Bennu? We have a spacecraft orbiting Bennu. And we thought Bennu would be kind of smooth. Well, actually, we'll get into more of that in a second. But we have a spacecraft orbiting Bennu that wants to bring home a sample. Because, you know, samples from other worlds are always cool. But it needs to find a landing spot. We thought Bennu would look like the images you see in the tutorial. Mostly smooth, some craters, you know, a couple, you know, boulders, maybe 50 rocks in an image. We thought it would take y'all maybe 3 minutes to mark an image. No one was expecting this. No one. It can easily take up to a half hour, so 10 times the length of 3 minutes to mark one image. And there's a lot of stuff going on, and we don't even have all the tools we need to mark all the stuff. So, like, anything that's a real weird rock or real shiny, we should have had a button for real, you know, hey, mark this shiny thing here. Or, hey, check out this weird rock feature here. Unfortunately, we didn't add that. We didn't know we needed that. And we're not going to mess with code while it's working, because that involves making changes on the database, on the back end. That means possibly introducing more bugs. And right now this is working. And we don't want to mess it up. So we're just going to work with what we got. We've been asking people that find really shiny images or really shiny bits in the images to share them on Discord. You do that by like right-clicking, inspecting element if you're on PC. If you have a mouse on Mac that allows you to right-click, I think it's the same thing. So yeah, as Veronica said, Benny said, you want rocks? You came to the right place. We have, I think, only a couple of, oh no, I'm sad you lost your image. The number 3 that DPI is coming up with is Bennu, Itokawa, and Raigu. Did I get that right, guys? Anyways, Hayabusa 1, Hayabusa 2, and Osiris Rex. So, aha! I did get it right. I did say Itokawa, Raigu, and Bennu. So that's our sample size. We have a sample size of 3. We don't know if this is normal or not. I don't think we were expecting a gravel pile. And I know a lot of people have gone, marked literally one image, and noped out. You wanna know what? That's okay. That's okay. These images are not at all like the tutorial. The tutorial does not prepare you for this. And there's no shame in being like, well, this is not the citizen science project for me. The bad part about that is that we do need 15 people for each image. So you have we need a lot of people to do this. The good thing is that over today, and I think over the last couple of days, I've actually watched the number of rows in the user database grow. So that's exciting. That's exciting. Even if it's a whole bunch of people marking one image, I don't even care. They're here, they're doing a science, they're doing the best they can. And everybody marking is literally doing the best they can. And that's okay. We have some people that mark thousands of images. We have some people that mark hundreds of images. I think I've marked between 50 and 60 now, and most of those have been on stream with you guys. And we have people that are just starting marking. We have people that, you know, do it when they get a chance. It's okay. Y'all are doing a science, and doing a science is important, and that's what matters. So, yeah. And I've mentioned this before, and I'm going to mention it again, but everybody at the end, as long as you provided me with a valid email address, well, by me, I mean us. As long as you provided a valid email address upon signing up for the project, you'll get a certificate back with whatever you provided as your name and the number of images you marked. I'm still on the fence about trying to calculate how much time you've, you know, devoted to it, because numbers vary wildly. And I know I've been guilty of just having an image up, and I don't know how to do that. But yeah, essentially, the certificate's much nicer than that. There's a sample of it somewhere. It's much nicer than that. DPI says, you did a science. A lot of people don't understand that, especially if English is not your first language. Yeah, of rocks or boulders would be cool. That is something I'm still trying to figure out how to do, is to see how many rocks or boulders a person's marked. I think time might have been easier, but I really don't know. So I'm going to have to play around with queries and stuff. Hey! Hello, Anti-Aware. Thanks for the follow. So, because you're new, you don't know what happens when you follow or make a thing happen. So, Puck. Tinker. Speak. And speak. All right, Puck and Tinker say thank you. I say thank you. Here's the Cheerios, and make it rain. And we'll make it sprinkle for Puck off, or make it sprinkle for Tinker off camera, because Tinker's hiding off camera. So the dog on camera, his name is Puck. He is indeed a white fluffy boy. He is a very good white fluffy boy. So, do I know how the marked images will be evaluated? Am I marking the same image as you, but we're putting our vectors at different angles on the same... Oh, you are marking the same image as me, but we're putting our vectors at different angles on the same boulders. They all kind of get layered, and I think the marks get averaged out. That is definitely a Star Strider question, because she deals with the data. I, right now, can plunge into the database, pull out the numbers of unique images you've marked, but I don't mess with the data like she does. So I don't know if she's still around, if she went off to go get some work done, you know, play with puppies, things of that nature. But that is definitely a Star Strider question. My best understanding is that everything is kind of averaged out, and, you know, small variations are taken into account. As long as you don't trace around the boulder, you're fine. You're fine. But I don't know. But yeah, that's the nice part about having 15 people per image, is that everybody sees things a little bit differently. You know, somebody might mark something that I don't. I might mark something that you missed. Like, I still don't know how to treat all of these rough areas, so I'm kind of treating them as rocks this time around. Because they're not fully independent rocks, but they're rough and they're there, and I don't... It's not something I want a spacecraft to land on. So somebody else might mark it differently. If this is your first time marking Bennu, the rock tool is to be used on things that are about 1/2 its size to 3 times its size. So let me see if I can find something to demonstrate. So like this little rock right down here, to me that's definitely a rock. That's only because I've used the tool. See how it's about 2 dots in size? That is definitely a rock. So you just kind of center it on there. This little guy right here, little boulder, this might actually be better marked as a rock. Falco asks, do we have a picture of the lander and or the spacecraft orbiting Bennu? I do not have it handy. The name of the spacecraft is OSIRIS-REx. We have had images. See, that little boulder would have been better marked as a rock. So let me erase this other line. There we go. I keep forgetting about the Asteroid Mission website. I keep forgetting about that. It's not really going to land. Michael says, I've been using the boulder tool until it got down to such small boulders that it wouldn't work, and then I started on the rock tool. That's alright. That's okay. These are just the guidelines that Dr. Pamela has suggested. Because again, you have 14 other people whose data is going to be combined with yours. So if it, you know, ends up that you've marked it as a boulder and other people have marked it as a rock, majority probably will win in that case. But there's nothing wrong with it. You're marking. You're doing a science. And right now, that's what we care about, because we got to do a lot of science really quickly. But yeah. Is it possible to use marked photos as a learning tool for some future AI? Yes. But humans are actually way better at pattern recognition than computers are. That is the one thing that we have beat computers at all. So somewhere in the world, I think it's Japan, has a stop sign that is in the shape of an upside down triangle, meaning the point is down. The point is down. And it's red. So if you're from, let's say, America, where we have the red octangular? The red octangle stop signs, which is actually the standard most of the places around the world. You look at the shape, you look at the red color, you go, cool, that's a stop sign. It doesn't matter what's in the center. You could go to Kuwait and see what looks like two men in a canoe for the words on the stop sign and be, that's a stop sign. Also, if you're from America, you're used to seeing octagon. Thank you. I am so words are hard. But if you're from the US, you're also used to seeing yield signs. And yield signs are that upside down triangle, and they're yellow. And yield, I think they're yellow. Are they red? It's been a while since I've seen a yield sign. But anyways, you know that yield means, that shape means, hey, check where you're going. Make sure you're not going to collide with somebody else. And if you take, a human that from America that is used to seeing these red octagon stop signs and these upside down triangle yield signs, and you drop them in Japan where they have the upside down triangle red, stop signs, they're probably, at least, without really knowing what's going on, they're at least going to pause and see if traffic is coming. AI will just blow right through it. You can cover up with a sticker on some stop signs and it will totally throw some AI off. I've seen videos of this. So yeah, that thing that makes us see faces everywhere is the thing that helps us adapt to new environments and, in the past would have helped us stay alive by identifying plants and animals and things of that nature. And now we can use it for science. So Veronica adds bathroom signs are pretty general too. And yes, that quote from Doctor Who is very applicable, Paranor. The trouble with computers is that they're very sophisticated idiots. Yes, they will do exactly everything you tell them to do. Gluten-free spaces. I don't see faces, but I do hear voices everywhere. Strange voices. Dark voices. You may want to get that checked out. I'm not a medical professional, but you may want to get that checked out. Puck, they're being silly. They're being silly. I think you're being silly. I hope you're being silly. Oof, oof, oof. Robots nowadays can only perform simple operations like go left, go right, and build car. But they don't build the entire car. They only do one specific action in building the car. Like screwing in a thing or picking up a piece of metal and holding it in place. So, and sell ticket to tourist. Yeah. And, robots need people to maintain them, which is both the awesome and terrible part. Sunglasses confuse it. Sunglasses confuse face. See, I don't use facial recognition. I've heard of people losing a lot of weight, and Apple's all like, yeah, no, we check every day and we can keep track of gradual changes. And there've been people that have like, I dropped a bunch of weight and I had to, this is not how I wanted to mark that boulder. And I had to go and reprogram it for facial recognition. I was like, wow. So, yeah. Yeah. Do you have an iPhone, Veronica, or are you using Android? Samsung has iris recognition. So, real talk, how does iris recognition work if you have really, really dark brown eyes? Because there's a lot of variation with lighter skinned people and eye color. There's not a lot of variation with darker skinned people and eye color. So unless it looks for structural things too. I know, Fluff, right? And there's the cat. The cat is screaming. I don't know what the cat wants. The cat wants something. Oof. You can fool iris recognition with a camera without IR filter and a laser printer. Oof. 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 So it's good that yours has the IR, camera on it at least. I know it's relatively easy to trick fingerprint things if you have a mold of like your fingerprint. And there's ways to make it happen. But it's kind of bizarre. Yeah, fingerprints can be tricked. Something patterns are a bit more difficult. You need a wax model for that. You have to open your eyes extra wide for, oh wow. Yeah, because I guess if you don't have round-shaped eyes, it doesn't capture your whole iris. If you have almond-shaped eyes, which take an almond, turn it on its side, or if you can't see white around both sides of your iris, the colored part of your eye, you have almond-shaped eyes. Round eyes, you can see white on both sides of the colored part of your eye. So, yeah. Some people went to do a press conference with a DSLR and 200mm lens and got valid fingerprints for that person. That's terrifying. Oof. Yeah. It's weird on my phone, the little bit where, because I have an older Galaxy, and the button where it also does the fingerprint recognition has a crack through it. It has several cracks through it, actually. My phone's several years old. My phone's like 3 years old. And it still reads my fingerprint. It doesn't always like to do it, but it still reads my fingerprint. I sometimes have to readjust my finger on it a couple times. So, I know, you're just off camera, Puck. I can hear you. I can see you out of the corner of my eye, but nobody else can see you, Puck. So it looks like we got a crater right here. It is suspiciously round. And this might be another crater. I think I'm getting down into the weeds now of rocks. Like, this is sufficiently marked so that, yeah, I see it as a crater, Falco. 14 other people might not agree with me, but I see it as a crater. There used to be a way that, for some of the other things where we trusted marks from one person versus another, essentially they were graded. But I don't think we have that set up on Bennu. We just didn't have the time. So let me turn off the marks and show you why I think it's a crater. So now we're not looking at any of my marks at all. This looks suspiciously round right down here. fact that there's a rock sitting in the middle of it doesn't really bother me. And there's actually kind of a shiny up here. And this one up here also looks suspiciously round. I'm looking more at the edges of the rocks and how they're kind of, you know, along a curve versus a straight line. This may be pattern recognition on overkill. It might not be. So, but I did see a rock that needed marked in the middle of that. So I'm going to drag out the crater tool, which, you know, gets used on some other worlds a whole lot and not a whole lot on this world. And boom, there we go. Michael says, I didn't think it was a crater, so I am not going to allow you to persuade me. Okay. But would the crater have been formed after the other pebbles came down there? It may have been formed before. Like, there's a rock marked in the middle of it, and, because that sometimes happens. But just the way I'm looking at it, it's very circular. I think it's a crater. I might be wrong. I might be wrong. Let me hide all the marks. Because there's no craters, I know, on the moon and other places have a part that's lit up and a part that's in shadow. But some of these craters are, some of these, especially in the examples, they don't have that feature like we would see on the moon or on Mars. They're just, you know, they're there. They're literally indents in the crater, and they're kind of hard to see. But I'm convinced they're craters. Y'all don't have to agree with me, but I'm convinced they're craters. So I'm probably going to click a few other times on this and then hit submit. I do feel my headache coming back on. Yeah, it does depend. And I don't know enough about geology. I know less about geology than I do astronomy. So I'm going to finish up this image. I'm going to see what the next image looks like. If the next image is terrible, I might just duck out and tap out and be done for the day. Because I do feel a headache coming back on. Yeah, the top would be a sharp impact angle. It's not pretty. Oof, oof. I guess we'll see. Alright. Alright, I'm gonna hit submit. I'm gonna hit submit. That's not too bad. It's not too bad. Alright, this is gonna be my last image. Because that will definitely make 3 for the day, I think. Which is usually my thing. Yeah, I don't have any water handy, or do I? I do, kind of. I've actually went to a neurologist. Hey, Nicandria! So, hi! Welcome, Raiders. I am Annie. I am not Dr. Pamela. I'm Annie. I know enough about astronomy to be dangerous. I am not an astronomer. Right now, we are marking, Bennu, which is the asteroid that OSIRIS-REx is orbiting. The plan is to do a touch and go and collect data and bring it back, but we weren't expecting Bennu to be a gravel pile of space debris. It's pretty terrible. So I encourage you all to help out and do a science by going to bennu.cosmoquest.org, registering, go through the tutorial, and mark one image. If you mark just one image, because I apparently hate myself, you will get a certificate if you provide a valid email address, you know, in the registration process. So literally everybody that has marked at least one image at the end of this project will get a certificate. We have people doing way more than that. We have a couple citizen science superheroes. I don't think they're here in chat today, that have done over 2,000 images. Honestly, if you do one, you're doing a science, and I'm proud of you. Because we've got a lot of images to mark, and we need a lot of eyes. So, I hope your stream went well, Nicandria. What'd you guys do today? Here I am all talking about what's going on. I hope you had fun. Yeah, the people that have done 2,000 plus 2,000 plus images are beautiful maniacs. Mental health discussion in Minecraft. All right, those are both good things. I'm doing pretty good. I have a bit of a headache, so I think this is going to be my last image for the day. I really only typically do 3 images a day. So for those of you that are wondering, I've done between 50 and 60 images. Yeah, it's better. The headache is better than it was yesterday, where it was full-on migraine. Today, it's like, I got a concussion last summer, and I get pinpoint headaches. So I have some water. I'm going to put my glasses on after I'm done, because my new glasses aren't here yet. My glasses are really reflective, and they reflect all the light. So it's annoying. And I know it annoys people, so I don't wear them when I stream unless I'm having a really bad day. Yeah, I had a concussion last summer. Ay. So favorite human, who is indeed my favoriteest human ever, is bigger and more muscular than I am. He's taller and more muscular. He enjoys just picking me up and kind of throwing me around, because he can do it. It's amazing. Kind of. But he usually, because he doesn't do it a whole lot anymore now, because I panic, usually he would pick me up in the kitchen where there was enough ceiling height for him to, like, pick me up and swing me around and things of that nature. And there's enough space. But he picked me up in the archway between 2 rooms, and my head hit an unmovable object. Or immovable object, I'm not sure what the correct words are. And I ended up with a concussion. So, yeah, I dragged him with me to the doctor to be like, he didn't abuse me. This is what happened. So, I spent a lot of time out of it last summer. My office was nearby some construction. I think it was immediately below some construction. I couldn't ride my scooter. I had to sit and sleep a lot of the time of the day. So, no, there wasn't a crack in the arch. It was literally in my head. So I've been dealing with headaches and migraines since then. Trying to do the dirty dancing lift dance? Probably. I am feeling much better. Oh, thank you so much for all the follows. So, here. This is what happens when things pop across my screen. So here's the Cheerios, and speak! Y'all are disappointing. Come on, dogs. And speak! They're both looking at me and wagging their tails. Anyways, the dogs are supposed to speak. And... there we go. Make it rain! So I toss Cheerios at my dogs. I have 2 dogs and a cat. The cat is loud. It doesn't. But there's the cat. There's the cat. I think the cat always thinks it's mealtime when he hears the dogs barking, because he knows the dogs bark excitedly for food. The cat sounds like a small baby. There are no tiny humans in my house. But yeah, I am feeling much better. I just get headaches occasionally, and drinking water and putting my glasses on and taking some time away from the computer today is probably going to do it. And not drinking alcohol, because alcohol is a neurotoxin, which means I just get to eat Oreos instead, I guess. I think that's the upside of that. Cat only eats when Lester feeds it. Now, this cat, oof. He has a fuzzy alarm clock. Some days he wants to be fed every 2 hours. Today he's not being too bad. But it is about time to feed him again. So yeah, for I saw a thing about why aren't we having computers do this. Short answer, computers are stupid. Long answer, computers are terrible pattern recognition. I have this little thing about stop signs in Japan, how someone from the US who's used to an octagon red stop sign and upside down triangle yellow or red yield sign. I forget what the color is. It's been a while since I've seen one. They would probably, if you dropped one of them in Japan, they would see the red upside down triangle stop sign and at least slow down and look to see no other cars were coming. A computer, an AI-driven car would probably go straight through that intersection without pausing. So, yeah, humans have pattern recognition, plus we can pull in context, and AI can't quite do that. They do exactly what you tell them to do, which is both good and terrible. Because if you just want to scan barcodes and look up the price, you know, in a database, it is really easy to have a computer do that quickly over and over and over and over and over again. But to input, you know, all those new barcodes into the database, you kind of need humans to do it. So when I drive in the UK with my license plate, I always get the right of way. Why is that, Falco? Is that a joke I'm just not picking up on? So, and those of you from the raid, this is the last image I'm doing tonight. So I'm just kind of, I thought it was going to be terrible. It's not as bad. I'm just kind of clicking through and all of that stuff. Open Cage says, that's weird to me. Stop signs and triangles coexist in many places. I know, but most stop signs around the world are not triangles. Because they know us Continentals drive the other side and give right of way to the other side. That's hilarious. Mike says, I was waiting to hand my computer program to the punch card operator. There were two of them who sat side by side. They both typed the code onto the cards. The first one actually punched the card and the second one verified it. As I was waiting, the verifier leaned over to the puncher, showed her a line of code and said, Elsie, what did you make of that? Rather spoils the verification. So, yeah. Yeah, punch cards. Computer programs on punch cards. That's things that they teach in, like, kind of the history of computer science now. I know they exist. I think I've seen one or two. But that's still kind of bizarre to me. I guess if you do it on the right kind of material, it won't, it can be stored safely for a while. I feel like there needs to be a song about clicking rocks. So many rocks to click. Yeah, I bet they did build their business off of punch cards. I mean, it was an easy way to do that. Veronica says, not that old, but I do remember life before barcodes. I kind of remember life before barcodes. There's a discount grocery store here that's local to Ohio called Mark's. And for the longest time, they did not have barcode scanners. Like, every product they sold had barcodes, but they literally didn't have the belts to move your groceries forward or barcode. They literally just put tags on each individual item, and the cashier punched in the price, and my dad hated going there because it was so slow because they didn't have barcodes, but the prices were really good. So now they have barcode readers, and now they have belts, and now it's more like what you see at other, you know, grocery stores and chains and things of that nature. I think Tinker wants to cuddle again. She's making a bed in her crate. But I remember seeing museum exhibits when I was a kid about barcodes, being like, here, play with this laser and scan the barcodes on these products. So that's what I mean by vaguely remember, because I don't know if that's still a thing that they even teach kids anymore. Like, hey, yeah, unless it's, hey, there are lasers used in your everyday life and you don't realize it. So. I have, speaking of driving on the wrong side of the car, so in Kenya, because former British colony, they drive on the opposite side of the road as America does. So they drive on the left. And one of my graduate student friends from Kenya had just gotten his driver's permit. And I'm like, hey, do you want to drive? He's like, okay. So we get on some back street in Youngstown, and I let him get behind the wheel, and he knows he needs to be driving on the right side of the road, but he just wants to, like, be on the left side of the road. It was kind of scary. So, because he had started to learn how to drive in Kenya before he came over. And I'm just like, all right, this is different. This is different. Okay, I see a couple craters. I know y'all don't see them, but I see them. So I see one crater down here. Let me turn off all the marks again. I'm not sure if this is a crater or not, so I'm going to leave that go. I think that's just my brain trying to trick me into a crater. But this one's definitely a crater. And turn on the marks. And we'll pull out the crater tool. If you find a crater, good job, because they're really not all that common. And yeah. The left shift on the bendy roads in the hills, scariest week ever. I bet. Because I probably would have been like, I don't know what I'm doing. It's like playing a game with only one life. Well, yeah. Crater mid right side. Let me turn off all the marks. This one? That one looks a little irregular. This one might be what you're talking about. I can kind of see it. Yeah. I see it. She fell off the road? How do you fall off the road? How? Puck, how do you fall off the road? He's like, I'm gonna sit right off camera until you throw more bits my way, Mom. Oof. Yeah, I guess roundabouts would help a little bit. Drive off the edge and there's a drop. Wow, there's some roads in Pennsylvania like that. That's always been scary to me. No guardrails, nothing? Part of me's like, why aren't there guardrails? I know, Puck. They have scary... Oh, too many roads, too little taxpayers. Gotcha. That actually makes perfect sense. Actually makes perfect sense. For a while after coming back from Kuwait, I was really freaked out by guardrails because in training, they had taught us that that was a good place to hide IEDs, was on the backside of guardrails. Because it just adds more shrapnel to everything and causes more damage. So things like cars on the side of the road, guardrails, like a lot of weird things that are totally benign freaked me out for the longest time. Because they're like, this can kill you. And I was never in any of those areas where I had to worry about it, but, you know, still, this can kill you. Oof. Oof. Gym Doctor says Canada has that too. Plenty of roads with 300-foot drops and no guardrails in BC. Oof. Just oof. Okay. I'm gonna call this good because I know 14 other people are going to do this image or have done this image. And I'm going to essentially probably click a few more things. No lights. Funny when you had to drive at night. See, I don't mind not having street lights. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with no street lights. I really am. Yeah, actually, oh, that's right. He was talking about British Columbia. Now you're talking about Nova Scotia. Because there are plenty of roads near where I am outside of the city that don't have streetlights at night either. Oh, not if the next bend can be at... Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. That is terrifying, Falco. Not if the next bend can be at a 100-foot cliff drop. You're right. Nurse says, when barcodes came in, I stuck barcode labels on backing boards prior to skin packing and form cutting drill bits. 200 to a board in batches of 10,000 on the smaller sizes with a tolerance of about 2 millimeters. Oh my goodness. Hello, Blue Lampshade. I don't think I've seen you before. And hi, I'm Annie. If you've tuned in, you've most likely seen Dr. Pamela. She is the astronomer. I know enough astronomy to be dangerous. However, I also know way more about space toilets. We're mapping Bennu right now. And this is actually my last image for the night because I have a headache and I probably just need to get out from all of these lights. Out from underneath all of these lights. There is half of a dog on the dog cam because that's just how he's laying. Get on cam, buddy. So yeah, I encourage you to go to bennu.cosmoquest.org, sign up, map Bennu. No, we can't have computers do this. Computers are stupid. Humans rock. Yeah, and yeah, if you literally do one image and provide a valid email address, you will get a certificate when all the images are done. So, there we go. Blue Lampshade says, you have not seen me before. I saw Knack hosting you and it looks like rocks on your screen, so I wanted to say hi. Awesome. Yes, there are rocks. There's so many rocks. Bennu is full of rocks. We were not expecting this many rocks. But it is my contractual obligation to ask you to go to bennu.cosmoquest.org and mark rocks. So, yeah, all the rocks. If you only do one image, that is fine. That'll be great. Because why? Because you did a science. You do like rocks. Good. Good. The reason why we're doing this is because they want to do a sample return mission, and they're not landing, they're doing a touch and go maneuver, so they're kissing the asteroid, blowing a can of air to stir up some dust and debris and dirt. I don't know, can you call it dirt if it's on an asteroid? Let's just call it dust. They're going to stir up some dust, and it's going to go into a canister, and the canister gets returned somehow. I forget how. But they thought they would have a smoother surface to do this maneuver on, and no. This is one big death trap. So each one of these images are 22.5 meters by 22.5 meters. And it's 5 centimeters a pixel. So, oh, thanks for the follow. Let's throw more Cheerios at the dogs. All right, so here's the Cheerios, and I already sprinkled some for Tinker. And speak. Y'all are failing today. And make it rain. Normally they speak. But yes, you literally will get a certificate if you do 1 or more image. Because there are lots of people that are like, this is not the citizen science project for me, and nope out. That's okay. They did a science. They helped. So, I have done between 50 and 60 images, most of which I've done while streaming. Is this a rock or a boulder? That looks more like a boulder. Let's move that there. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome! Yes, please share. Please share. We have a deadline until the July 27th. That might get extended again because we've already had 2 extensions. Even after the deadline, we'll still continue marking. It just won't be as urgent. So we're pretty close to getting 2/3 through all the images. And once we get all the way through, we'll have another celebration stream where I will eat weird things. I'm not sure who gets to pick the weird things I eat. I might put out a poll and we'll see what that. Veronica says, moon mapping was hard for me, but meta mapping is easier for some reason. I think I prefer moon mapping, honestly, because there's a lot, but it's okay. Yeah, any shape, as Open Cage points out, the samples that will be taken are up to 2 centimeters in diameter, which is smaller than a pixel on this. So any shape you see in these pictures are not going to be part of the sample return mission. Like, these boulders look small, but they're pretty big. Bennu and Osiris Rex have Twitter accounts if you're into Twitter. I like antagonizing the Bennu Twitter account because it's not run by NASA and they can be fun. Oof. Alright, so the bad news is I have a headache. I'm winding down. This is my last image. I think I'm pretty much done with this image. And I am... Yeah, I think I'm gonna just finish this up and grab a bite to eat. So Michael says, I hate any repetitive tasks like marking or craters, marking rocks or craters, but this is urgent. It is. And you're doing a science, Michael, and we thank you for doing a science. Because doing a science is sometimes very boring. And sometimes very repetitive. And that's just how science goes. And this is way too much science for, just a couple of scientists to do. Which is why we've crowdsourced this. So I'm going to call this done. I'm going to click image submit. Because 14 other people are going to look at this image. Great. I am trying, depending on how I feel, I'm trying every day to have a rock support stream. You're already following us, so you'll get a notification of when we go live. The next time we do go live will be for Daily Space, which is tomorrow at 1700 hours UTC or 1 p.m. Eastern. And, yeah, that will be Dr. Pamela hosting, and there's a launch tomorrow. Oh, this image isn't so bad, but I'm not doing it. It's not so bad, still not doing it. Yeah, Dr. Pamela will be doing Daily Space, I'll be doing the rocket launch, and we'll probably mark rocks somewhere in between there. So I am going to do the awkwardly roll the credits thing again. So it was so nice to meet you, Blue Lampshade. I hope I see you again soon. And all of that other fun stuff. Does anybody have any suggestions for who I should raid? And while I wait for your suggestions, can you have that image, please? I know, right? While I wait for your suggestions of who to raid, I'm just going to go through my obligatory wall of text. So this has been a production by PSI, that is Planetary Science Institute, working in collaboration with Youngstown State University here in Youngstown. Nope, still not an idea of what it's like outside Ohio. PSI is a 501 C3, nonprofit corporation, which is fancy speak for your donations are tax deductible where laws allow. Oh yes, absolutely. We will totally raid Roadster Tracker, because Astroneer is an awesome game and Roadster Tracker is in our community. We are brought to you by you, so thank you for all of your support. Thank you for doing a science. Thank you for, keeping me company while I mark rocks and all of those other things. And I think that's all. So I'm going to roll the credits. We're going to raid Roadster Tracker. It was very nice to meet all of you new people, and I hope I see you all again soon. So I will see you tomorrow. Bye.